2 weeks ago, and my good friend Gary Harper shared from the stage. I thought this was a great line. You got to deal with reality, or reality is going to deal with you, right? Are you prepared for what's coming on? What's up ahead? So when we started this year, interest rates were at 3%. Still near historic lows. Not as low as the mid twos we were in parts of last year, but 3%, that's really, really cheap money, right? If you're buying a house or you're doing a cash out refi, you're doing burrs, 3%, those are phenomenal numbers. But we started to see inflation kicking in. And our government had a decision to make. Do we want to address inflation, or do we want to address a potential upcoming recession? And right now, at this exact moment, they're concerned about inflation. So what are they doing? Well, on June 1st, a little bit more than a month ago, the Federal Reserve says that they are going to stop buying mortgage-backed securities. And what that means is that when you got a mortgage with Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, right? If you went to Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Chase Bank, whoever, you got a mortgage on your house, the Federal Reserve was buying that mortgage, right? Well, they decided they're going to stop buying those mortgages. So what does that mean? Well, that's the reason why we started to see interest rates go up from 3 to 4 to 5, right? They're changing their appetite for mortgages. And so then after that, on June 15th, just 2 weeks later, Jerome Powell says the housing market needs to reset. Now, when the Federal Reserve, right, this is central banking, they're in charge of all the money, right? By the way, this is an unrelated government entity, but they control all the money, and they decide that, that federal housing market needs to reset. What's going to happen? Well, we got a federal housing reset. So on that day, they decided to bump the federal rate 75 bips. What that means is right now for the banks to borrow money, it increased by 0.75%. And what we saw immediately the next day was interest rates increase by 0.5% to 0.75% for the end buyer, right? So we started the year at about 3%, and right now we're about 5.75%. This is a very significant amount, right? Going from 3 to 6%, a lot of people lost their purchasing power by about 10%. So now we got this data, right? And this is, by the way, a few weeks ago, but when this happened, I'll share with you, I was a little anxious. I was a little uncertain. I'm one of the most confident people you'll ever meet. I was, for a day, like, what the heck is going on here? And I need to plug into my community, right? And my community is Collective Genius. So we go out to Collective Genius, and we have Bruce Norris speak on stage. And Bruce Norris has predicted the real estate market successfully for the last 20 years. And he shared a lot of wisdom. And the biggest thing was that of all the things that are going to affect housing prices, really the biggest thing that's going to affect it is if we ever have a foreclosure crisis, which we're nowhere near at the moment. So as long as we keep recession not terrible, we're not going to have this terrible recession with as far as people losing jobs, unable to pay their mortgages, causing foreclosures. And right now, even if we had a foreclosure, everyone's got equity, so like they can just sell it with a realtor. So